players. Who's Tuchel going to pick in his England squad? Well, let's just take it. Let's look at the 24 squad. That was that. Who's the remaining there? They goes 3 keepers. They had Pickford, Henderson, Ramsdale. Well, I'd carry it on the same. Then they had 8 defenders, and the 8 defenders, you know, were small boys in there. You know, Trippier, Shaw, Walker, Dunk, and Stones. I'd get rid of all of them, really, all of them. And also Gomez, who's not been playing well and who's been, you know, injured. A lot of changes there. That really only leaves Concert and Gui out of the 8 players. Therefore, I'd have to bring Stones back in for his experience, and he's a class player, there's no doubt. All right, some idea about the age, too old. Well, Stones, I'd make an exception for him. Who would the other 5 be? Well, the other 5 to me would have to be Trent, because Trent, you know, you can play midfield, you can play him in different places. I don't think he's a great right fullback. That's my honest opinion. But you've got to put him in that squad. I'd then play the 2 Newcastle boys, Livramento and Hall, and I'd play Skelly. I'd put Skelly there as well. He's coming on, give him experience. And I'd also, I know everyone's going to go, no. I'd put White in that squad there too, because he can play centre half. He's a centre half. That's what he came as. That's what he started his career as, and that gives you, you know, 4 centre halves and 4 fullbacks. You know, that covers it up. That's the 8. That's the 8 defenders in midfield. That's where you're going to have your problems. You know, before you had Gallagher, Manu, Rice, Walton, Eze, Palmer, Foden, Bellingham. You can't really change many of them. I've already put Trent in as a defender, so that leaves an opening. So I'd carry on picking Gallagher because he's playing brilliantly overseas. Rice, Walton, who's just come back, brilliant. Bellingham, Foden, Palmer. You can't leave out. There were 9 midfield players. So who would I bring in? You know, 3. I've got to bring in 3. Eze was one of them. Yeah, I'd let him. You know, he's playing really well. I'm afraid, Manu, you've not been playing regularly. You were one of the players. I'd drop you. You're not playing well either. And then I'm not quite sure who I'd go for. I think I'd let Curtis Jones. I'd let Curtis Jones come. Curtis Jones been playing brilliant. I've got 1 more, and that's either going to be Maddison, Rodgers, or Gibbs White. Well, Maddison is, you know, he flatters to deceive. You know, I don't think he's good enough at international level. I don't. So it has to be Gibbs White or Rodgers. I actually prefer Rodgers, but I think Gibbs White has played, so has Rodgers. I think for the moment, I'd stick with Gibbs White and just see how he fares at international football. Then up front, when you look at up front, you know, we had 6 players up front because you've got to get to 26. You know, you had, you know, Gordon, Bowen, Saka, Kane, Tony, Watkins. They were the 6. Saka's injured, he can't play. Tony we can now forget about. So you've got to bring in 2 new players because you can't kick out Watkins and Kane, can you? And you know, Gordon, you can't. You got those 3. So in my opinion, what I would do is bring in Matuidi of Chelsea, the right wing, and I'd bring Nwaneri in of Arsenal. Give him some experience. He's only a young lad playing brilliant. That leaves 1 position there in the forward line. Who is that? You know, do you kick out Bowen? Or do you bring in somebody like Delap? And everybody's going on about Rashford, the loved one. Well, he's not played well enough. The last few games, he's come on. But no, consistency. No, don't. Just because he's got the name, and he will pick him, I reckon. Tuchel will pick Rashford. A joke. You know, why? Why? I think he has to prove himself, you know, to be able to go in that. So what does it say to other players who are playing all the time, you know, consistently well? So out of Delap or Bowen, oh, I want to play Delap, but I'm going to go for Bowen for the experience, and he's a class player, seriously. So that's my team. That would be my squad, my 26. As simple as that. Be interesting to see what he goes for. I'll look forward to that, but I bet he picks Rashford, and I don't think he's right. Football Chat Uncensored, let me know who are your 26 players. I'd love to know who you think I'm right. Shall I say them again? Shall I bother? No, you must have heard them. Football Chat Uncensored, Reno talking on TikTok. Cheers, guys.